Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D here. Join us on Twitter, Cascade Hoop Talk. I hope everybody's staying safe. Keep your family well. Today, really happy to have Nick Reed, Olivet, Nazarene, one of the top players in NAIA this season, currently in the Bevo Francis Top 25 watch list as well. I want you to listen to what Nick has accomplished at Olivet Nazarene. This list, I got this courtesy of Cody Smith. He writes there for the Daily Journal, provides a terrific summary. Nick finished at ONU with 3,048 points for his career. He attempted 880 free throws. He made 740 free throws. He scored 51 points one night in 2018. One season in 2018-19, he scored 875 points. That's a career for most guys. Free throws made and attempted, 243 for 290. And second all-time in rebounds with over 1,100 rebounds. He played 4,400 minutes. He made over 1,000 field goals. So well over 1,000 rebounds, well over 3,000 points. And on top of that, he is first-team All-American the last 2 years. NAI honorable mention the 2 years before that. Player of the Week twice, Chicagoland Conference, first-team All-Conference 3 years. Just an amazing career. But above all that, and I'm sure Nick will correct me, I believe I read he's an academic All-American, and I believe I read he had over a 3.8 grade point average, which is really what a student athlete should be doing, is getting educated and going to school and playing basketball. So Nick, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So Nick, you grew up in a small town in Indiana. You grew up in New Albany. You played high school at Christian Academy of Indiana. I want to ask you, when did you realize that you had a special talent for basketball?
Yeah, I think really just going through high school and being able to have some success with my team, and then hearing some colleges be interested in going and working out for some coaches and stuff like that. That's when I really started to think, this could be a reality. I didn't really think it was possible I thought it was possible, but I didn't really think that it was probable that I would have as successful of a career as I did, but it just worked out that way. So it's, I think it's been a great honor, and all glory to God, and shout out to my teammates and coaches for helping me get to the spot where I'm at right now. And yeah.
So Nick, you grew up in Indiana. I'd like to know how you didn't end up in the Crossroads. Were you recruited by Crossroads teams?
Yeah, a couple. But it was just something about Olivet, man. I had it narrowed down to my final two were Olivet and Huntington, actually. Really liked Coach Platt and everything out there. Had two pretty similar offers from them and Olivet, but in the end, it just kind of came down to how I felt with the guys on my overnight visit at Olivet. Really just everything with the facilities. I loved the distance from home. I loved how close it was to Chicago. So all of those really just played a role in my decision, and I think it was the best decision for me. So.
Well, it definitely worked out for you. You had absolutely terrific career there.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to ask you about that game against, you mentioned Chicago, University of Illinois Chicago. They're an NC2A Division I school, and you came within an eyelash of upsetting them early in the season. Talk about that game.
Yeah, that was it was an interesting game. We've played them before, so we normally try to play D2 or a D1 team every year. So last season we beat U Indy. We beat them we were up by 20 in that game. I think we ended up beating them by 10 or 15. But yeah, it was a crazy game. It was pretty close all throughout, and it just came down to a crazy play at the end. I mean, I kind of thought the dude traveled, but he hit a shot with I think 4 seconds left. If I can remember, he came down the lane, and I thought he traveled on his move that he did. I was right in front of him on help. Came over and helped. I thought he traveled to move around me, but ref didn't see it that way. We got another shot. We took a half quarter, and it was very similar to Gordon Hayward's shot against Duke in the NCAA championship. Like, I don't know how many years ago that was, but a while ago, and just rimmed out. It was crazy, but it would have been a heck of a shot. So, but yeah, it was a good game. It really kind of opened up our eyes to how good we could be as a team this year.
Well, let's talk about that team. I watched your team several times throughout the season. I thought you definitely had all the pieces. I mean, you had a terrific point guard, Dane Shafley, a legit big guy, Alex Gross, and John Content. He can get to the bucket on anybody. And then, of course, yourself, more of a utility inside-outside guy. You can post up. You can go outside. Talk about this team. Talk about, just how all that flowed together.
Yeah, it was definitely special. I mean, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the relationships that we had. Really just everything. All the guys were amazing, and we were super close-knit. Definitely the closest team I've ever been on. So I think a big factor in that was the fact that we didn't really graduate anybody last year coming into this year. So it was huge. But I think really just all the individuals we had on the team that came together, we found our identity. We had a few hiccups early in the season, but it was to see it end the way it did was really tough without having one more chance to kind of see what we were made of and kind of go to war with the guys one more time. But, I mean, it is what it is. God's got a plan, so I trust in that. And I think overall, I mean, it was a little bit of a disappointment, but I think as we've seen in the news now that it was probably the right call to make. So,
Nick, I have a question for you. You played with John Content every day. Were you ever surprised in a game situation? Did you ever say, how in the world did he make that thing? Because he would shoot some, I'll call them circus shots.
Yeah. No, yeah, he's a great scorer and defender. He's a great all-around player. I think we really have a lot of those on the team. And John definitely made some crazy shots throughout 3 years of playing with him. So absolutely. For sure. We've got some great individual players on the team, and I think he's going to need to play a big role next year, which I think he's definitely capable of doing. So looking forward to watching him. He's a great player.
So, Nick, as it turns out, that IU South Bend Donnybrook was your last game. I think you were up by 10, minute to go in regulation. I mean, let's talk about that game. Talk about that last minute.
Yeah, it was just kind of a freak accident of a game. I mean, I don't really know how to describe it. It was something I've never really experienced. I think I've only seen stuff and heard of stuff like that happening. But I mean, I feel like if you play basketball as long as I have, you're kind of bound to eventually experience a game like that. And I think, I guess that was the one I got to experience. But it was unfortunate, the circumstances that it was in. But I felt like going into the tournament, we had gotten over that, and we were ready to make a deep run. But yeah, it was definitely a crazy game.
So I wanted to ask you about that. So a lot of times you see a team, lose a game at the end of their conference tournament. They come in that much more fortified into the national tournament. So what was that period like between that loss and then getting to the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, you know how crazy that game was, and so I think it was Coach Berkey handled it really well and letting us kind of deal with the loss. We took a day off right afterwards, kind of all regrouped mentally, and we came back the next day and just kind of got back to work. And I mean, we addressed it. We just kind of said it's kind of like a burn the tape kind of game, and we know we're better than that. We know the pieces that we had. So I think we were even more focused. I think we were on a pretty decent win streak there going into the conference tournament. So I know a lot of teams that are super hot in the regular season kind of fade out a little bit in the tournament. So I think it would have, I mean, with that loss, you got to think if we would have won that game, we might have gotten, I think we got the number 4 overall 1 seed. We might have pushed up to the number 3 overall 1 seed. But I really liked our bracket the best out of all 4 of them, in favor of us. I think we had a little bit of familiarity with Lincoln, and I think we were poised for a good run there. But yeah, it was. I think we were definitely focused and ready to go.
So before we leave that game, I think it's safe to say, and I don't want to put you in a bad spot, but I'll say it. I think it's safe to say that your teammates who are returning are going to remember that game. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
That was, let's just say there were some interesting moments in that game. Probably coach's decision to treat it as a burn the tape game was probably the best one. As a basketball fan, it was a wild finish, something amazing to watch. You go to Sioux Falls, as you say. I thought you had a pretty good bracket. You definitely had the pieces. The team this year was in the top 5 in a whole range of categories. You led the country in assists. You led the country in assist to turnover ratio. One of the top rebounding teams in the country. One of the I think first or second best free throw shooting team in the country. So you were going to make a deep run, and you're standing there in the tunnel, and you're getting ready to play Lincoln, and that game between Ottawa and Concordia ends, and then guys in red suit jackets walk out onto the floor. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so we were all, that they had kind of closed the games down for a certain amount of people from each team being in there. They didn't want anyone extra in the gym in attendance there. So we were watching the end of the game from inside the tunnel, all ready to go, all stretched out, all dressed, and they set the clock to 10 minutes after that game had started, which is how much time you get to warm up out of the tournament. And we were all ready to take the floor, and then these guys come over and tell us to head back in the locker room. So we didn't know really what was going on at that point. We headed back in, and then somebody came in about 3-4 minutes later and kind of told us that the tournament was canceled. So, and then the waterworks started and everything. So it was crazy.
Nick, we mentioned it a moment ago, but just an amazing career at Olivet Nazarene. People there will remember you for a long time. You should be very proud of it. Can you talk about some of your proudest accomplishments, some of your best memories of playing there?
Yeah, I mean, I think just if you look at it from a bird's eye view, I think some of my favorite memories will definitely be probably the 51-point game, scoring the bucket to put me as the all-time leading scorer there was awesome. But I really think that what I'm going to remember the most is all the relationships and everything that I got with the guys on the team long term, and being able to see them, and if we ever all get together again and being able to hang out, and I know we'll be able to be like nothing ever happened, like no time has passed, because that's just how close our team was. But I gotta say the relationships with the guys and stuff like that was probably the thing I'm gonna remember the most, in spite of all the personal accolades that I've achieved. So
what's next for you after Olivet and Nazarene? What are your plans? Have you already graduated? When do you? And tell us what you're majoring in as well.
I'm a finance and marketing major, and I'm in the process of accepting a job right now, actually. So I'm engaged, and my fiance and I are planning on moving back to Louisville. She's a nursing major, and she's already accepted a job down here. And then I'm actually not graduated yet. We're still set to graduate. We're still set to graduate in May. We just have online classes until then. So I'm actually heading back to campus, and then we're gonna do online classes up there with my roommates, and we're just gonna kind of wait this thing out, I guess. So, but yeah, we're getting started in Louisville, and that's the plan right now. So,
well, Nick, best of luck to you. It sounds like you have that really laid out. I'm an old guy. I'm just kind of giggling that not everybody at your age has it that quite laid out, but yeah, it sounds like you definitely have a plan there, and I wish you and your family the best.
Thank you.
Nick, I really appreciate you taking the time. I mentioned this with a couple other interviews I've done. I just messaged Nick, and we went back and forth to get a time that worked, and he did this for us just right out of the blue. And I know it was a tough ending to the year, but I really appreciate, you're a great ambassador for NAI basketball. You had a terrific career, and thank you for what you've done for the game.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Well, Nick, good luck. Stay safe and keep your family safe. And maybe down the road in the Chicago conference, if things keep heat up, and if you're still keeping up with the game, maybe you'll come on down the road and talk to me about it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, Nick, thanks a lot. You stay safe, and thanks again for coming on the show.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.